Bravery is a skill, not a personality trait, and it is the fastest, most powerful skill to creating the career and life you really want. I'm Nicole Steinbach, the International Bravery Coach and your host. I'm a former global senior director in the tech industry who's worked in over 25 countries. I'm now a certified and proven coach serving professional women like you all over the world. My promise is that you will stress less, work less, and then earn more. The Celebrate Brave podcast is for you, so make sure you subscribe for weekly Brave inspiration, including proven frameworks for career and life success, my answers to your listener questions, and powerful conversations with my clients and other brave leaders. You are already brave. You can define what brave means for you and your goals and build your brave. In fact, you're already in the right place. So let's dive in. Welcome to the month of November, the first themed month ever on the Celebrate Brave podcast. Because for 4 weeks, we're going to be diving into the topic of no, identifying your no's, saying your no's, creating boundary around your no's, and doing it in a way that helps you thrive. Today, I'm going to be sharing a simple, effective, brave exercise for you to identify some of your no's. And then the next 3 weeks, I have a guest on to share the power of no and their approach and suggestions for you. The way that we identify no and implement no for ourselves is unique to who you are, who you want to become, what your career is, what your job is, and lots of other circumstances in your life. So here's the deal. If right now you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling stressed, overwhelmed, perhaps angry, you feel resentment because you are thinking about work all the time, or you're working way beyond what you agreed. Perhaps you're doing parts or even a completely other different job in addition to the job that you have. You know that you're not being paid what you should be being paid. Maybe you even discovered that you're underpaid. These are all feelings that are a strong sign that it's time to take a breath, catalog your job, your career, your hobbies, your relationships, and so much more so that you can identify what is not serving me anymore, start making decisions, and move forward. This is directly in alignment with the Build Your Brave framework. Remember, I have an entire episode about the Build Your Brave Framework 2.0 that you can listen to. But for right now, what we're going to focus on, there's 3 parts. Clarity, getting clear, momentum, taking action, feeling the feelings, and accountability, making agreements with yourself on who you're going to become, and then following through with them. For so many people, trying to identify, and maybe this is you, trying to identify what you want when you're in a period of significant stress and overworking, it's a losing game. Instead, and I find this very true for my clients, it's identifying first what you don't want anymore. Now, I have an episode about what it's like when you grow past something that you were so happy to have in the past. I'm going to link that down in the show notes. There are a lot of ways to find your no. Today, I'm going to take you through a simple exercise that I've shared with some of my clients, and they were really benefited from. So we're going to start with visualization or a metaphor. If you want to pause and get a pen and a paper, fantastic. Otherwise, just follow along and perhaps visualize in your mind. I want you to consider a room. This is a room that represents your life, including your career today. Now, this is a room that you've lived in for quite some time. It's filled with objects that represent Like I said, your career, your relationships, your hobbies, your health, your life, all of the things. Of course, it has walls, it has a roof. Hopefully, it has windows. Really picture this room. It is the physical representation of how you feel today. Perhaps there are lovely objects. Perhaps there are broken objects. Perhaps there are things that are lovely, but you don't really want them anymore, or stuff that actually isn't yours. Perhaps there's actual trash. There's stuff that you don't use, stuff you use all the time. Can you really picture that room? As you're picturing that room, do you want to spend time there? Do you enjoy this room? When you look about, what stands out to you? What is there too much of? What is there too little of? What's missing? Can you already see things that need to be moved or removed? I bet you do. I bet when you picture this room, I know this is true for me and it has been true for every client I've brought this exercise to. They begin to notice, to make even a list of everything that's in this room and what it represents. In fact, so many of my clients, as they're making this big list of everything that's in that room and what it represents, they start circling the things almost automatically that are now a no. And it's with this clarity, the first part of the Build Your Brave framework, this clarity that they can begin to make decisions. So I'm going to share a few examples of decisions of objects identified, and then how they leveraged the no to shift this room, this metaphorical room, which of course means they're shifting their career and their life. Now, I am going to be sharing the career perspectives, and I'm going to be sharing these examples without the specifics that would identify my clients. That's just not fair, right? All right. So one of my clients had too many locks on her doors and on her windows. Now, it took her a while to understand, what on earth does this mean? So many locks on my doors and my window. But as she felt into the experience, and as we were working together so I could ask her questions and guide her, she realized that her first no was exclusively working from home. The 100% remote work was no longer working for her. So that became her first no. Then over time, she began shifting towards something a bit different. It was about not working on the weekends. It became about not being available on holidays. And one by one, not only did she unlock the locks she thought were too much on her doors and windows, but she actually began to remove some of them. Another client was identifying, she actually drew her room, and it was kind of empty. There were almost no colors. The walls were completely bare. The few bookshelves that she had were almost completely bare as well. And again, we worked through, felt the way through. I was asking questions. We were trying out different things. And her no began with black and white outfits, with structured suits, with heels. And she started bringing in color, lighter fabrics, more unstructured fabrics. Then she began playing with more colorful earrings and bracelets, and slowly, in her mind's eye, in her metaphorical room, those bare walls got pops of color. She felt less trapped in her representation. And I will tell you that over time, she began to show up, not just physically with her outfits, but also emotionally and skill, the type of skill she was willing to show. Okay, last example. Another one of my clients had a very structured room, and she realized that she had too many folders, too much old tech, and there were clocks everywhere. I mean, everywhere. When she talked about this room, it was like a clock there and a clock there and a clock there. And next to the window was a clock and the door had a clock. And there were just clocks everywhere in these like very structured, very organized piles of old tech and folders. Now, this took us a while to unravel, but what it ended up being is that she was the wisdom and knowledge for her group and her team. Now, she loved her function, really appreciated her boss, her employer, as well as the product that she was helping to design. What she was saying no to was being that one source of walking wisdom, knowledge, and know-how. You know, she was the most senior in this organization, and she continued to invest a lot in her skills, which is why all of the old tech and the folders and all of these clocks were so structured. However, those clocks also meant she constantly felt she was moving around the world in time zones because she was. And what she wanted to do, her no became working across all time zones, and her yes began removing some of those damn clocks to stop feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm constantly running after clocks and I'm the source of wisdom and all of the experience, right? And she began to say yes to documentation, to time zone limitations, to upskilling and empowering other people. So as you're picturing your room, as you're identifying what is in there, what you want to remove, what you want to add, maybe what you want to move around the room or reshuffle, that can be one of the most powerful exercises to identifying your no. And when you have the clarity, the first step of the Build Your Brave framework, you can begin to create momentum, taking action towards your no, feeling the feelings around your no, so that you become ever less stressed, working ever less, becoming ever more the person you wish to be, which is accountability. Now, a big spoiler for you. All of your no's eventually become yeses. And the last client story I shared was the most present in this podcast of how a no becomes a yes. And that is how we're going to spend December. I would love to hear from you. What does your room look like? What is in your room? How did this exercise help you get more clear on your no's? I hope you enjoy the month of November. I often share on this podcast the power of the 2%. And that is especially true when it comes to identifying what you don't want. So go with the 2%. I'd love to hear from you and enjoy this wonderful month. Before you go, you can deepen and expand what you're experiencing here on the Celebrate Brave podcast by working directly with me through bespoke, results-oriented one-on-one coaching that is rooted in my proven Build Your Brave framework. As of the last client survey completed in Q1 2023, 75% of my clients from the past 2 years report they reached their unique goal. 100% of my clients, yes, 100%, report they stress less as a result of working with me. 56% report working less, and 43% report earning more. You learn how to spend less time ruminating and stressing yourself out by getting clearer and calmer within a mindset approach that is simple, effective, and specific to you. Then we work together to end the habit of overworking and overproducing by crafting a plan of momentum specific to your goals and strengths. I support you as you execute your plan, including the skills and knowledge necessary to succeed in your own accountability. And finally, you step away from the all too common pattern of under-earning and make the shifts towards being well paid in your industry, using the clarity and momentum to ensure you become the woman you want to be at work and in your life. For real. Go to tricksteinbach.com to learn more and schedule your free, no obligation consultation. Link in the show notes. You can stress and work less while you earn and live more by building the skill of bravery. Talk soon.